find your passion, it ignites you as a person. You just feel awesome. Alright, so in this video, I am going to break down why training jiu-jitsu actually will help you in a self-defense situation. I was watching a bunch of Me Too videos, and I kept on seeing a pattern.
I was raped by an acquaintance. It was straight after school.
We would just hang out with a group of our friends, but we ended up getting each other's phone number, and one night he texted me and asked me if I wanted to come over his house.
Surprisingly, this is how the majority of rapes happen.
He offered to walk me back, which I was really grateful for at the time, and thought that this would be safer for me.
The majority of rapes happen from somebody that you know.
A lot of times when people think of rape, they think of guys snatching girls, off of the streets or something like that and taking them to a van, when really it's statistically proven that most cases of sexual assault happen between friends or acquaintances, people who previously know each other.
Typically, the profile is they lack the ability to care and be intuitive about what another person is feeling, or they're feeling pressured by whatever group to get some ass because that solidifies their status socially.
Camaraderie centered around the idea of partying and really access to women and sex. There's that big ego part where it's like, oh, you gotta, go out and get laid tonight. Everyone's like, yeah, go get laid, go get lucky, go have a great time, And I feel like sometimes a lot of the members take that the wrong way.
Basically a situation where one person, wants to have sex and the other person doesn't know if they want to or not, or maybe they don't even realize what's coming.
I told him that I wasn't interested. I told him that it would never happen. So when he was doing those things to me, I just felt violated, but I didn't know how to express it in that moment. So I let the things continue, and I let him continue doing what he was doing.
And then one person is trying hard to do that without really caring about how the other person is feeling. They just want something, and they're going to get it because they either really want it or think they deserve it. In some extreme cases, it's like they don't really care. You deserve to give this to me. What the fuck are you talking about? You watched too much aggressive porn. You need to fucking calm down. Yeah, we really need to change the angles of porn because a lot of these occurrences don't even get reported.
It was somebody I was involved with. It was a friend of a friend.
I pretended that I fell asleep.
I didn't hit him, I didn't scream, I didn't cry for help really loudly. I just froze.
Started slow. I think this particular man wasn't sure about how far he could take it, and I think once he was able to gauge from my response or lack thereof, just because there was a fear factor, and he was someone I trusted.
When victim-blaming attitudes are added to this mix, it only gets that much harder.
But I remember sitting at home one evening and thinking about like, okay, like if I was on a date gone wrong and let's say, you know, like somebody was pushing them, like I was envisioning like me and a person in a kitchen and them like stepping up to me and like me being framing out, but them still stepping up to me and me having to like level up the physicality involved. And to be quite honest, like I was scared because it was almost like something was preventing me from leveling up to the leveling up the physicality and escalating the situation. Like there was something inside of me that at that point in that moment in time that was like, no, like let's just, you know, keep everything cool. But I'll tell you what, when I started like overcoming that fear of rolling and fighting.
Hey guys, I want to fight you.
Overcoming the fear of rolling after class, and I started to grapple more and I started to live train more. I did not get any techniques, but my ability to fight improved. And I'll tell you why and how. It's like when you are putting yourself in situations when you're under duress, you are training your brain to respond to the environment. For me anyways, my natural response that I had to untrain was, yeah, I'm pretty feisty verbally, but like what would have really happened if things would have like stepped up physically? Like usually the dudes that would do this, like it's a power thing more than like a sexual thing if somebody's like a real predator. So in my mind, I was afraid of like upping the ante and then having them up and me not being able to like up further than they could up it.
And I knew that 2 was enough, and he kept telling me to take a 3rd one. And when I refused to take the 3rd shot, he was like, if you don't take that 3rd shot, I'm gonna come over there and pour it down your throat. And he wasn't being funny. Like he had a stone cold serious face.
But after training, like live training, not just class, like rolling for about a year, like my thoughts on that changed because I knew that I could handle the intensity of the altercation increasing. It was like that fear of like, oh, well, what if I do this and he does that? That was gone because I had put myself in that situation so many times rolling that it would be like a training session, but like an intense training session. So the reason why you should do jiu-jitsu isn't actually like as a white belt beginner, like year 1, the reason as a female for self-defense, the reason why you're doing jiu-jitsu is ironically not for the techniques. The value that you will get from doing jiu-jitsu is actually in the live training. And trust me, girl, like for that first year, like I didn't get techniques live, okay? Like that did not happen for me either. That doesn't happen for any white belt. It's because you're under duress, you're under stress, you're in a fight. The person is trying tooth and nail to make sure that your moves don't happen. But the thing is, who you're going up against are people who know the moves, understand the moves, and are not only giving you resistance, but it's intelligent, trained resistance. They know the defense to your offense, to whatever you're trying to pull, they already know. So as a female white belt, your jiu-jitsu will be a fuck ton more effective outside the gym, outside where people don't know jiu-jitsu, okay? Like watch my video about my bouncing stories. Like I bounced for a whole year, like when I was a white belt, like those stories will give you some like additional insight, some additional motivation. So surprisingly, as a white belt, of course, techniques matter. That's how you're going to become good at jiu-jitsu, but your primary goal as a female white belt is to try and live train at least 1 roll per week, okay? And watch my other video about how to choose your rolling partners. That way it can be like better rolls for you as a white belt. But try to do like just 1, you know, it's usually like a 4-minute round. Sometimes it's like 3 to 8 minutes depending on what they set the timer for. But having that experience of being under duress, of somebody being on top of you, fighting you, trying to keep you pinned down, trying to impose their will on you, and you trying to fight through that, and them reacting to you fighting, and then realizing that like you can do this. It's almost like growing that will, because the will, like for me anyways, I don't know how many like I didn't walk into jiu-jitsu with this like mentality of, if anybody's gonna step to me, I'm gonna fuck them up. Like, no, it was more like, oh my God, like if shit hit the fan, what would I really do? Because you don't know until you train. Like, that's the honesty of it. Like, some people just think that, you know, they'd be able to kick ass that first time, and maybe they would, but you don't know how you're going to react until you put yourself in that situation. Right? Like, I can say I can run the fastest marathon in the world just sitting here, but like, really? Could I if I never trained? Probably not. Like, oh, I watched some YouTube videos and did some, you know, faux running in my living room. I'm pretty sure I could run the fastest marathon. But like, when you start rolling and you start grappling and you start live training, your ability to face situations gets stronger. I mean, I'll give you a situation like that happened to me when I was probably like 3 years into training jiu-jitsu. I remember like going out on a date, and like this guy, you know, we're at his house after, and he kept on like trying me. He like would come on to me, and I was like, hey, look, like, I like to take things slow. I don't, you know, I don't fuck on the first date, sorry. And he kept on like trying and trying and trying. And by the third time, I was like, dude, like, really, like, if you try like one more time, you are gonna wake up unconscious in your kitchen, on your kitchen floor, and I'm gonna be gone, and you're gonna be feeling like really fucking stupid. So you need to stop. Like, so no, in that instance, like, did not mean no. Rarely have I ever said like no in a situation and had the guy be like, oh, okay, I'll just stop, that's cool. Or like, imagine a world where a man will ask a woman, hey, like, do you feel comfortable with this? And the woman actually has to say yes. Like, that would be the ideal situation. Like, we shouldn't have to like quiet and no, like, that shouldn't be it. Like, we should be prompted to say yes. Like, that would be the way, like, a completely civilized society, like that would be the optimum level of society if we actually like did shit like that. But I mean, from my experience, like, that's just not how it happens. Ladies, how many times have you said, I'm all set, and they're like, oh, like, earlobe, neck, try again? Like, no does not mean no. Like, no means, ooh, let me just try something different. To the point of like, listen, sir, okay, I told you no twice. The third time, you might get, or you might get choked out. Like, that's, you can decide what's behind door number 3. How about that?